Welcome back to another edition of PirateCast. And if you are Pirate fans like us, you are going to be anxiously awaiting this weekend. As you're watching this, it's Friday night. So we're away at Edinburgh right now? Is it Edinburgh tonight?
It
and then we've got another away match on Saturday, but it's, kind of pre-show to the big main event, which is going to be Richard Lawson's Testimonial coming up on Sunday. It's going to be in an epic, I was going to say night, but it's kind of an evening. So bring your kids along as well. They're not even going to have to be out that late. So that's a bonus. It's going to be Rich's Testimonial down at Poole with the Wessex Marine Poole Pirates taking on the Roger Warren's Transport All-Stars. And why waste any more time? Should we bring him on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get him on. It's great that he's come on board, and it's great that we can do something before the big day.
Absolutely. Here we are. How are you doing, Rich? Are you getting much sleep these days?
Oh, yeah, it's been a bit stressful, I'll say that. But yeah, it's all coming together quite nicely now. So I'm nervous, but a bit more relaxed than I was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, there is so much to put together. Ben will sort of back me up on this. We've been involved in organising a couple of the sort of testimonial or special commemorative meetings down at Poole, and the organisation compared to what actually happens on the night, it's just on the night itself is just a fraction of the work involved. So fair play to you. It's a lot of stuff going on. I know we're going to touch a little bit later on some of the sort of changes, which, if anything, I think enhances the teams that we've already had to make. So we'll touch on that a bit later. Ben, I know you wanted to touch first. I mean, obviously we're getting to the end of the business end of the season now, and we've just had another big win down at Plymouth, not without incident, but you wanted to touch a little bit on the Pirates' fortunes this year.
Yeah, obviously, Rich, I think it'd be remiss of us not to have a quick discussion about the business end of the season. Clearly, we were going like a steam train from hell at the start of the season. And then we had a little blip against Oxford. Clearly, that seemed to have caught everyone off guard. But a good reaction against Workington and then again against Plymouth. What are your thoughts towards coming into the playoff end of the season?
Yeah, I think like you touched on, we set off flying and everything was going good, and Oxford came to us and they just really put it to us basically, and no excuses from any of us. We just kind of didn't have it that night, and I think we got a little bit complacent. And when that happens, it makes you take a look at yourself and where you're going wrong and what not to do again. So I think as bad as it is to lose at home, if you're gonna do it, that's kind of the time you can accept it to happen, as long as it's only once. And we bounced back really well. I was happy with all the guys in the team for the match for Workington. Great response and exactly what I wanted to see. And then again, we've gone down to Plymouth and got another victory there, so that was even better.
I mean, it is a bit crazy. We're talking about losing at home once in like 2 seasons or whatever it is. It was a ridiculous statistic, and obviously it's got put the fire up the lads clearly. But I understand there was quite a bit of teamwork behind the scenes prior to the Workington match and beforehand. I know some of it's been touched on. Can you just sort of talk to us about how you guys rallied around and what sort of happened before that?
Yeah, so it was obviously I think that Oxford match we'd all kind of underachieved, apart from Ben. He had an awesome night, but I think every one of us had dropped points that we thought we shouldn't have. But and the reserves and second strings were kind of really struggling. So Danny and Matt wanted to do something to try and help them. So they had a practice. I think Ben was down, Zach was down with them, and Toby has now got one of my engines. So he tried that, and he had it for the Workington match, and he seemed to be much quicker and a bit more confidence. So I mean that's testament to the Poole management and stuff. When we have a loss like that, and like you said, it's one loss in 2 years, but we've set such a standard that we don't want to repeat meetings like that. So everyone got round everyone, and it came off nicely. It was a good response, like I said, for the Workington meeting.
I also noticed as well. Obviously, we've been heavily reliant on guests at number 7 since Vinny got injured. One thing I've noticed for sure is they seem, even though it's a guest, they seem to be very included in all the preparation currently.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and that practice day was we had Ben Trigger down there as well. Forgot to mention that he's yeah. I mean, guests are important. You always want your full 1 to 7, but it obviously can't happen all the time, and you do have to rely on guests. So making them as comfortable as possible is only going to benefit us and them. So we really do try and get behind them.
Excellent. So you touched on Vinny there, and obviously he's had quite a knock to the shoulder, and he's been out for a couple of weeks now. What's the latest that you've heard on Vinny? I know he's sort of experimenting with some different treatments and trying to get back as quick as he can.
Yeah. So the latest I've heard is he's still heavily doing the oxygen chamber treatment, which I think would speed the recovery up. So he's looking. He wants to be back. I know he was trying to even get back for the Plymouth match, but I was thinking at the time, I wouldn't rush back for that one, because if you're not fully fit, it's a tight track, and one little mistake you can go down. Just even a soft fall can set you back. So although we do want our 1 to 7, I was kind of relieved he didn't come back for that one. But I think he's gonna try and be back as soon as possible. So fingers crossed, because he was flying. He really settled in nicely.
Great
Absolutely. And how's that Tom doing? He had a bit of a knock last night. Said he's got a bit of discomfort in a few places. How did you see the incident at Plymouth last night?
Yeah, well, I actually didn't see it because it 13, and I was.
Of course it was, yeah.
And he was behind me. I heard it though. So yeah, we're coming into the first bend. I think it was after the first lap, and I just heard more revs than what is expected, and then it just went quiet. And I because it's so tight there, when I heard the revs and the RPMs going, I was kind of waiting for something to come into the back of me. But Ben Barker at his best, I think. Giving Tom some of his treatment. So I think I'm hoping he's just battered and bruised. He did obviously come back out, and we got the 5-1. But as far as I'm aware, he's just a bit battered and bruised, and I think if we really needed him for Heat 15, he would have come out for that. But Zach was in top form and done the job.
Brilliant stuff. Okay, so that's the Pirate season, and we're anticipating now several finals. Hopefully, the finals come into it when we get to all of these competitions, because we don't want to miss out on those again. But all eyes now. Full transparency, we're recording this exactly 1 week before the big day, Rich. And as you touched on earlier, lots of preparation has gone into this night, and so much work involved in putting together a meeting like this. And I understand, obviously, there have been some changes already. Speedway being Speedway, there's always going to be changes right up until the last minute. But we've got a little bit of a change of the lineup at this point.
Yeah, it's like you said, Speedway. We had to lose Sam Masters, this Polish club, put on a fixture on the same date. They moved it around, so he felt so bad. He was like I got to Leicester the other day, and he's like, I've got some bad news. And he said, I've been dreading telling you the whole drive. And but obviously completely out of his hands. And he was like, I'll sponsor a rider. And if you can find a rider to my bikes, I'll such a good guy. But I said, no, you don't need to do that. We'll get it covered. But we kind of announced a lineup with him in, and then we've shuffled things around. We got Craig Cook to step in to the All-Star teams, but we've moved Ryan Douglas from the Pirates side over to number 1 for the All-Star. And if anyone noticed the to be confirmed rider in the Poole team, that is now going to be Adam Ellis. So yeah, I'm really chuffed. We've got a good bunch of guys in there, and I think it's going to be a really competitive meeting.
Yeah, I think as you say there, shuffled around a little bit, but certainly I think even more competitive. It's really difficult now to sort of see who's going to get the advantage on the night. Obviously, a lot of the Poole guys that know the track, but it is going to be a really, really competitive night. So things happen for a reason, and we're still going to have a cracking night, I'm sure. Ben, I know you wanted to touch on the 250s that are going on during the night.
Yeah, obviously it's very interesting because I know a lot of testimonials don't tend to have a youth bit. Was that something that was always going to be part of the meeting that you put on?
Yeah, I did. I wanted it to be a little bit different, and we were kind of thinking of some different ideas. And it's actually Chantel's idea. She was like, "What about getting some kids in there doing the kids racing?" So yeah, we got 4 250 riders, and I think in like 5, 6, 7 years time, people hopefully these guys they're not just starting off. They're really quick. They'll come up with some good racing, and I think they are genuinely stars of the future. So yeah, like in a few years time, hopefully there'll be some fans there that these guys could even be wearing Poole race jackets in the future. Like I remember first time we seen them racing. So yeah, a little thing like that, and it's good for them. You know, they're getting some good proper racing on. Don't normally get to race on, so I think it's win-win for everyone.
Brilliant. And how many rides are they likely to get through the night? Have you got it planned out?
Yeah, we have hoping to get, as long as the evening goes, evening goes to plan, they should get four good heats in. So yeah.
That'll be really good. That'll be great to see the young guys there. And of course, another announcement that we needed to mention was the team managers. Of course, as expected, Midlow leading the charge for the Pirates, but we've got Mr. Dixon in for the Roger Warnes Transport All-Stars. And I know you mentioned a little bit in the press release, but talk to me about the decision for the team managers of the two teams.
Yeah, yeah. Me and Stuart go back way back. From the Glasgow days, and even before that, we had a good relationship. And before I was even riding for Leicester, we were always in contact. I nearly signed for Leicester when I was racing for Eastbourne around then, and you know, he's used me as a guest for many years. But you know, if ever I had a problem or anything, I could pick the phone up and phone Stuart and go, "What's your opinion on this?" So yeah, he's a top guy. So yeah, I thought that'd be pretty cool to have him down there. And when I asked him, he was like, "Yeah, for sure, I'll do it." So that was cool.
And more interestingly, the genius move of having a sponsored shadow team manager for the evening.
Yeah, so I thought that was kind of a unique one-time opportunity. It's like some people never get the chance to do that, and it is quite a unique experience. You know, going on track walk, listening to what the guys have to say, because I'm sure a lot of fans, you know, the diehards, you know, they see us doing it and you know, wondering what they're talking about and what goes on. So you know, a little bit of a kind of VIP look at things, and you know, whether you're shadowing Stuart or Midlow, it's the team talks can get pretty entertaining from both of them. So that in itself, I think, would be worth the admission fee.
That is brilliant to hear. So yeah, as we stand at the moment, have we still got both of those available?
I think one's gone already.
Okay.
But yeah, as this goes out, I'm not too sure. But if it hasn't, get in contact and we can soon sort it out.
Fantastic. And again, these testimonials, they're always a bit of a spectacle. Have you got any other little surprises or things like that you haven't announced yet? You don't have to announce them now, but
yeah, fine. Yeah, we've got there's actually an extra heat. So it's a normal race meeting format with the 15 heats, but there will be an extra heat right at the end for the top scorers of the meeting, a bit of a dash for cash. So they can cover their costs a bit more, because these guys we do cover the costs as best we can, but it's kind of one of these meetings. It's you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours when it comes to them. So you know, if you can put a little bit extra in their pockets, all good, and adds more value to the meeting itself. And then in the interval as well, we've got a little kids running race. So yeah, just a little bit extra.
Fantastic. It's all that sort of stuff that makes it a special event, that you know, when you go to meeting after meeting, as much as we love Speedway, they can get a little bit, you know, formulaic with the way they're run, and these little things in these bigger meetings are the things that people will remember, to be honest.
Yeah, just trying to spice it up a little bit, and yeah, keep everyone entertained, and like I said, just be a little bit different.
Excellent.
Just on that, were you always looking at the team format? Because I know you said you've talked about the various formats. Were you considering an individual meet, or was it always, I just want to put two absolute entertaining sides together?
You know what? I was so torn. I had loads of ideas, and whether rightly or wrongly, I thought of an individual, and then I spoke to a couple of people, and I think having a pool side would attract maybe more pool fans. Maybe I don't know. And I was trying to keep the pool side either current pool riders or they have ridden for pool in the past, and I think the exception of Charles, then we have achieved that. But yeah, I was thinking of should I do it a little bit different, like do the Polish format, because they do it slightly different, still 15 heats, but heat 14, and the riders race each other at different points, and then there's a couple of little things different, but at the end of the day we went for this one, and hopefully it works.
Excellent. So the meeting event sponsor is Therma Home. Sunday, September the 1st. The parade is at 5 p.m. I think the doors are at 4. And you can obviously book the tickets the normal way through Poole Speedway, and it is definitely going to be worth a watch. So make sure you get down to Wimborne Road. As you're watching this on Friday evening, you haven't got long. You've only got 48 hours before the match goes ahead. So make sure you get down there, support Richard and all of his services for not only Poole Pirates, but for Speedway in general, because God, I hate when you have to say this, like a veteran of the sport. I'm not saying old, I'm just saying a veteran, experienced, that sort of thing, the words you have to throw out there. But Rich, it's been an absolute pleasure. We got the interview done. I know we tried it a couple of times, and there were tech issues all over the UK, basically, in trying to get this one done. But we do appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us and build up this Sunday.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for getting involved. It's I appreciate it, and hopefully I'll see as many people down there as possible.
Amazing. Right.
We wish you all the best, Rich. Here's to an absolutely cracking night. I know the racing's going to be great, so that'll take care of itself, and hopefully you get time to enjoy every minute of it.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it now.